On 5-speed First Alert Doppler HD, we still are awfully close to the radar site for being able to see the tornadic portion of this storm. But it is still obviously a powerful storm, and it will be moving away from that radar site soon. I'm plotting on here a few of the wind estimates from radar, and we're getting 40 to 55 miles per hour, just straight line winds that would be, and that's capable of doing some damage in itself. The leading edge of these strongest winds extend northward in Nassau County all the way up I-95, and then southward all the way through central and southwestern portions of Duval County. That's the leading edge, the straight line winds, the gust front, if you will, of the storms. That in itself can produce some wind damage, but it's this portion of the storm, very near the International Airport, that we're the most concerned about, that could be producing a tornado now. And that's why a tornado warning is in effect, and that's why we're on the air, wall-to-wall, and will be until the danger has passed. The tornado warning is in effect until 10 o'clock this evening, so it's in effect for another 18 minutes. It could be discontinued early if it looks like the storm is weakening, but the National Weather Service just putting out an update saying they are indicating that the circulation is very near where we've been talking about, the International Airport. They've got it moving east at about 55 miles per hour. I've got it moving a little bit south of due east, but either way, it's semantics, and the warning covers a large area anyway, much of central and northern Duval County. If you're in or close to that tornado warning, you should be taking shelter now. For our radio listeners, as we dip in on radio for a tornado warning in Metro Jacksonville, stay off of the highways and interstates. I-95, not a good place to be in Duval County right now, especially going north out of downtown Jacksonville or coming south through Nassau County and headed toward Duval County and Jacksonville. Just get off the highways and the interstates for a minute. Just get into a gas station, a sturdy place, a sturdy building, a place where you can be safe for a few minutes. It won't take long for this storm to move along, and then you can continue your journey. Again, this is a tornado warning issued because of a possible tornado very near the International Airport. This is broadening out now, the wind, but it is difficult still. We're not getting the best data because it is so close to the radar site. Right here is Jacksonville National Weather Service Doppler radar, and here's the possible tornado. And radar, when it's functioning like this, there's nothing you can do about that radar beam because it tilts up a little bit. And so that means when the storm is really close to the radar site, that radar, the antenna is kind of moving up above the surface a little bit there. It can't get through the bottom part of the storm very well. It can't get us a very good sample of the storm. As it starts to move away from the radar site, and there you're getting evidence of it right now. As it starts to move away from the radar site, we get better data. And boy, that is strong wind now in the vicinity of Ocean Way and the northern and northeastern beltway of 295. We're getting some additional reports now. Just got a report in from the International Airport of a wind gust to 51 knots. That is about 58 to 59 miles per hour. I'm also at 59 miles per hour officially at the International Airport. I'm also getting some reports here on my phone, so just bear with me if you will, please. I have a report of, I got a trucker that's listening and watching right now in Camden County, approaching the Florida-Georgia border. He's reporting that his truck is shaking from the strong winds. That's on I-95 right now. And that's why we want people to hang tight when and if they're traveling and make sure they're safe and not on the highways or interstates, because quite frankly, vehicles become toys for tornadoes when it comes to the damage that they can do and the strong winds. Our newsroom is efforting reports on this storm, and if there's any damage, we are sending reporters to the scenes, to the area of northern Duval County as well. We're making phone calls, and here's the leading edge of that storm. There's the strongest winds in the pink and the red there. Let's sample some of these winds and see just how strong they are. Again, if there's not a tornado on the ground, at the very least, we're getting very high winds here with this batch of storms. There's 60 miles per hour, 55, 32, and 47 miles per hour just north of downtown. So where is this headed would be a great question. Let's check it out. Here's the wind and the movement off to the, I'm going to get and take it a little south of due east. It's due into Arlington in 2 minutes, the strong winds. The tornadic portion of this storm will not be far from Arlington either. Fort Caroline at 9:51. High winds reach Craig Airport at 9:54. Mayport on the coast at 9:58. And Atlantic Beach at about 10:04. So now's the time to prepare for this severe storm that may knock down trees and power lines and possibly contains a tornado as well. All right, I'm going to take a look at some other parameters here that we can check out when we look at First Alert Doppler HD. This is the wind, what we're what I'm popping up now is the wind shear, and we do have just a little bit of shear indicated, not a lot, and that's a good thing. We don't want to see a whole lot of shear, but this little green patch, which is a little bit behind the actual storm, is crossing the airport where we'd expect, where we just had winds to near 60 miles per hour, and crossing Interstate 95. Let's take a look at what we call our debris tracker. This also shows the lightning. This is messy, I understand that, but let me explain it to you. It's really a helpful meteorological tool. It's helpful for us, the forecasters, as we track these storms. And notice the tornado warning now only goes as far west as I-95. So the international airport and nearby neighborhoods, you're no longer in the tornado warning. It's being shaved back, so to speak, as the storm heads eastbound. Right in here would be our circulation, but what we're looking for when we talk about debris, and again, I know this is very messy looking, it's confusing, but I can simplify it for you. What we look for is a debris ball when we're tracking debris when we're looking at the debris tracker. Tornadoes will produce literally a ball of debris if they're on the ground. And you look for a circular area that might be usually blue in color, a darker color. And I'm not seeing that. I'm not seeing what we call a debris ball. That's good news. We don't want to see that. I do see some elongated colors right in here, and that's likely the leading edge of the highest winds. That's the straight line wind, and it can still do the kind of damage that a small tornado could do, 60, 70, 80 mile per hour winds. And we're getting lots of winds reported, the producer is telling me, at I-95 Pecan Park. All right, here we go, and there it is. Yeah, look at the rain, blinding rain. People are traveling on the interstate, but slowly. It's going to be a slow go. There's lightning flashing. See the pouring rain. It doesn't look like the wind is terribly horrific at this particular spot on I-95 at the moment. That wind is probably, and is indicated by First Alert Doppler HD, to be a little east of I-95 and Pecan Park. So it's pouring here. There's a lot of lightning, but those strongest winds are a little bit off to the east, and here they are. Here's where those winds are. And I've got to go back to taking off these boxes for you so we can more easily see the data that I want to present to you. But again, we're on the air because of a tornado warning that is in effect. Here's another update just in. Continuing to track a tornado now near the Fort Caroline area, which I've just been talking about here in the last couple of minutes, or about 9 miles northeast of Arlington. So this is staying a little bit northeast of Arlington, but I'm indicating high winds all the way down into downtown Jacksonville. You can see these pretty bright colors, but the strongest winds are right in here. The northeast beltway of 295, the Dames Point Bridge, and then extending down to about Arlington, at least some pretty strong winds. I don't see very strong rotation at the moment. Rotation would be where we see these winds coming together, green and red. We don't have the green, we just have the red. That doesn't mean there's not a tornado, but it's most likely strong winds, straight line winds that we're seeing now with this line of storms. Let's track it here. Heading, again, I'm going to take it a little bit south of due east, which is going to take this into Fort Caroline now in about 3 minutes, the highest winds. Craig Airport at 9:53 in just 4 minutes. Mayport a minute before 10 o'clock. Atlantic Beach at 10:03, so in just about 12 minutes. And Jax Beach in about 20 minutes at 10:10. Those could be 50 to 60 mile per hour winds, or even perhaps a little bit stronger than that. Let's take a look at some of these velocities in here right now. Again, we can look at rain on First Alert Doppler HD, but we can also look at wind. And this is the wind on 5-sweep First Alert Doppler HD. And we're seeing consistent 50 to 55 mile per hour gusts potentially in here. There's a really strong one there at 57 miles per hour. The airport has already reported a 60 mile per hour wind gust with this severe thunderstorm as it moves east or a little south of due east at 40 to 50 miles per hour. So it's really moving very quickly. I'm going to take you back now to what you traditionally see on First Alert Doppler HD, which is the rain. And that pops up now and shows us just how heavily it is raining across the area. Brighter the colors, the heavier the rain, and there it is. No real surprise on just how heavy the rain is now into downtown. Here's where the possible tornado is, not too far from Fort Caroline, but I am not indicating the kind of circulation that we had 20 or 25 minutes ago. That's good news. High winds, yes. Tornado doesn't appear to be likely at this point. We still do officially have a tornado warning in effect, though, and a tornado can quickly develop with little or no advance notice. But when I was talking about the rainfall in here, look at these rainfall rates. We're looking at nearly 2 inches per hour in some places. Fort Caroline at 2 3/4 inches per hour. I mean, that's a true deluge of rain. So extremely heavy rain on the leading edge of these storms, along with the high winds. I am feeling a little more comfortable about this not necessarily being tornadic, but realize severe thunderstorms like this can and sometimes do produce tornadoes with little or no advance warning. And I'm also carefully monitoring this storm southwest of downtown because it's quickly intensifying now too and could produce severe weather at just about any time. In fact, I'm curious about the wind in that storm, so let's go to the velocities. The tornado warning continues again for eastern portions of Duval County. There is a severe thunderstorm warning for all of Duval County, meaning high winds, which again could down some trees and power lines in some places. And there we got off the all the warnings, but what I'm wanting to look at here is the wind. And there's wind there, but it doesn't look to be particularly strong down here in that newly developing storm and intensifying storm to the southwest of downtown Jacksonville. The brightest colors are clearly just east of downtown and then arc their way up into northern Duval County. That's what we call a bowing storm. The winds are bowing out, an indication of especially strong winds, and those powerful winds now are headed for the coast, and they are on the move. I mean, they're moving quickly at a good 40 to 45 miles per hour, and that takes, this is again updated now into Mayport in just 5 minutes, those strongest winds, which could down trees and power lines. Atlantic Beach at 10:01, Jax Beach at 10:07, Seabreeze Elementary School neighborhood, close to Jax Beach, in Jax Beach, 10:09, and Ponte Vedra then, northern St. Johns County, at about 10:18. The tornado warning is set to expire in just 8 minutes, if not discontinued earlier than that. The severe thunderstorm warning is in effect. I believe that goes a little bit longer. Let me move up here in this. Severe thunderstorm warning remains in effect until, that's also in effect until 10 p.m. I wouldn't be surprised if the severe thunderstorm warning is extended. The tornado warning, not so much. I'm indicating much more straight line winds now versus a possible tornado. That's good news, obviously, from a tornado standpoint, but we still have the high winds to contend with, which can also cause damage equal to that of at least a small tornado, depending on just exactly what how strong those winds are. Here's the report from the International Airport, which was just a few minutes ago. We were on the air. Winds up to 59 miles per hour. And then we also have yet another high wind report in Nassau County. And this report is from Yulee, and a report there of 40-mile-per-hour winds, so not near as strong. The most intense part of this storm went a little south of Yulee and then into the International Airport, where we've had the 60-mile-per-hour winds already confirmed, or at least 59, so real close to 60 miles per hour. The storms, as they move to the east-southeast, will also produce a lot of lightning and certainly plenty of heavy rain. Here's another update from the National Weather Service. They're going to go ahead and continue the tornado warning. In effect, it's only in effect for another 6 minutes. It's indicated to be between UNF and Mayport, staying to the north and northeast of the UNF campus. No surprise there on the south side, but closer to Mayport, and that's right where we've been tracking this storm. It looks like the winds have cranked even a little bit more now on the leading edge. This is what we call a gust front. Straight line winds would be very powerful here headed into Mayport. Even if this doesn't contain a tornado, it could certainly be producing some damage. Let's take a look at the estimated velocities, because this one has me really curious. And there we go, 67 miles per hour. That's a lot of wind, you guys. That's headed into Mayport and the neighborhoods between Mayport and Atlantic Beach. Very high winds will likely down some trees and power lines as this heads toward the coast. We'll zoom in a little bit more. We're on street level mapping here, and this is the strongest band of winds now headed along Wonderwood Drive. So that's the intercoastal, right? You go over that big bridge, a little east of Monument Road now, a little bit east of Craig Airport, Arlington, Queens Harbor, you're in line for strong winds now too. These are some pretty intense winds, 60 to 70, maybe even some 80-mile-per-hour wind gusts. These will roll right along Wonderwood Drive to A1A, Queens Harbor. There's Atlantic Beach, also in line for these storms, and then Mayport too. 2. That's started to intensify now as it heads toward the coast. That's not unusual because you get a little bit of extra shear sometimes, some friction as it approaches the coast, and that can cause these storms to crank just a little bit harder, a little bit stronger, if you will, and sometimes develop a tornado as well. We've seen that happen often. So here's again timing out the strongest winds. This is wind now. You will get the wind before you get the heaviest rain. You certainly will be able to see the lightning. Headed into Mayport just about right now. Hanna Park at 9:59, Atlantic Beach at 10:01, and Neptune Beach at 10:03. Damaging winds at the very least. I don't see much in the way of a circulation. That's good news as far as a tornado goes, but these winds could be as strong as a weaker tornado as they move in because we're getting brighter colors, and that's an indication of some pretty powerful wind. Let's put our wind estimates right on here again on 5-speed First Alert Doppler HD. This is a really intense part of the cell, and there's, again, 67 miles per hour. There's 58, 57. That'll down trees and power lines, 64 miles per hour. Moving into Queens Harbor right now, 53 mile per hour winds. This is elevated a little bit, but this will be close to what is likely measured at the ground level, too. And remember, the International Airport, we've already had a wind gust of 59 miles per hour, so that would match up pretty well with what we're seeing here on 5-speed First Alert Doppler HD as these storms race to the coast. Now, CBS 47 and Fox 30 Action News JAX, is actually on Fox 30 Action News JAX, begins in just a few minutes. So we'll continue to go with wall-to-wall coverage of this severe thunderstorm until at least the tornado warning has expired. And then we'll go to our news desk, but realize we'll keep you updated as necessary as these storms continue to move to the east. The tornado warning about to expire. The severe thunderstorm warning likely to be expanded or to be extended in one way, shape, or form because these storms aren't weakening, that's for sure, as they head to the east and to the southeast at about 40 to 50 miles per hour. So I'm going to widen the view a little bit. We'll take a look at all of Duval County and much of northeastern Florida. I'm going to go back to the more traditional view of radar, which is the rain and the lightning. You can see all the lightning coming into view with these storms as well. And there's a whole line of storms now that extends across Duval County, and any of these could produce severe weather in the form of damaging winds especially. You can see all the lightning strikes as well. Looks like we've had another wind report there, so let's take a look. Southwestern Duval County, a little bit to the east of Maxville. That's a wind gust at Cecil Field, 43 miles per hour. So again, not as intense as we've seen recently and at the International Airport, but still significant. This line of storms, as it moves to the east and to the southeast, will track these storms. It looks like they've already made it to the coast in eastern Duval County. These will continue east-south eastbound into Middleburg in 10 minutes at 10:08, Ponte Vedra at 10:10, Durbin at 10:30, Nocatee at 10:33, and Green Cove Springs at 10:45. That's the leading edge of the heaviest rain. The winds will be out ahead of that a little bit, 40 to 50 miles per hour, perhaps even a little bit stronger. You're going to get a lot of rain. We've been giving you the first alert on this all afternoon and evening. Took a while, but the storms have formed and they've developed and are moving quickly through the area now. And the tornado warning is set to expire in about 1 minute. I don't believe that'll be extended. What will likely be extended or reissued is the severe thunderstorm warning that is in effect right now for these storms as they quickly move through the area. Notice that the southwest edge of the line is through about Lake Butler here with another intensifying storm. So that'll move into Stark along the Highway 301 corridor. There's another isolated storm, too, along Highway 16. That looks to be just northwest of Green Cove Springs in Clay County, not too far from Penny Farms. That'll kind of get probably sucked up into this line more than likely, and that can intensify that portion of the line of storms very quickly. So that's an area we'll watch real closely, close to the Buckman Bridge, Fleming Island, Doctor's Inlet, nearby areas, and then it'll be into northern St. Johns County as these storms head east, south, eastbound. And then once this line moves through, you can see I broadened the view a little bit. It gets pretty quiet pretty fast. But then there's yet another line of storms behind that. That should weaken. This portion of these storms, as bad as it looks now, that should weaken as it moves in later tonight because we'll have cooled the air a little bit. We'll kind of worked over the air mass, if you will, the atmosphere, because of the storms that are currently here. All right, let's get an update here. We've got a spotter report of, let's see, this is in Duval County. about a mile west-northwest of San Pablo, report of a secured tent that was destroyed, taken away by the winds, and also some tree branches down. No surprise, given what we're seeing on 5 Sweep First Alert Doppler HD. We do now have official word from the National Weather Service that the tornado warning has expired. So here's what we'll do, y'all. We've got the severe storms moving through Duval County now. We'll continue to keep you updated round the clock. I'm going to take you back to the news desk on Fox 30, Action News Jax. I'm going to track these storms one last time. We'll take a look at where they're headed, and then we'll go back to normal and regular programming on CBS 47. On the air at 11 p.m. with Action News Jax, but I'll interrupt programming as needed with these storms. And on Fox 30 Action News Jax, we go to our Action News as we typically would. 10:11 into Ponte Vedra, 10:23 Durban, 10:26 Nocatee, 10:40 Green Cove Springs, 10:59 the World Gulf Village. Very heavy rain, a lot of lightning, and the potential for damaging winds. So until 11 p.m. on CBS 47 and Action News Jax, when we'll be back with your first alert forecast and all the latest news, we now go to the news desk for the beginning of Fox 30 Action News Jax.